Hi, it's Bruce at fighterkitecentral.com, and today I thought we'd discuss a little bit about how to adjust the bridle for a two-point bridle on an Indian kite, or any kite that you have attached a two-point bridle to. They have different adjustment or arrangements than a three-point bridle. Now, a two-point bridle is simply the name given to a bridle that's attached to the spine in two places, or attached to the kite in two places, really. It's just one line that connects those two, and I make the line short enough so that when you pull it towards a wingtip, that bridle line does not extend beyond the wingtip, because if it does, there's a good chance while you're flying the kite that the bridle will get tangled around the wingtip and the kite will probably crash. But it's attached generally 5 or 6 inches from the tail at the low end of the spine, and then it's attached at the point where the bow and the spine cross, and it simply wraps around, comes back to the front, and is tied. I use a couple of half hitches, and the same on the tail. And then I make a small loop and use it as a place to connect my flying line. Toe connection is what I call it. And I just loop that over the main bridle line with a lark's head knot so that I can adjust the position of this along the bridle line to adjust for the amount of spinning and amount of tension that the kite has on the flying line. If you want the kite to have more spin, generally what you do is just move that toe connection along the bridle towards the nose a little bit so that the nose is at a different angle to the wind, and that generally will increase the amount of spinning. And the reverse is true. If it spins too much, move the toe connection towards the tail, and that will flatten up the kite so the kite is more perpendicular to the wind. The kite will slow down, the amount of pressure on the kite will increase, and so the pull on your flying line will be a little bit greater doing this. And then the other thing is that if you have too much spinning, more than you want or more than you can control, you can reduce the bend in the bamboo spine by bending it backwards. But this is a little bit tricky because bamboo doesn't really have the ability to bend that way nearly as easily as it does the other way. But if you straighten out the bend so it's not quite as severe, it will reduce the amount of spinning in the kite, and vice versa. If you want more spin, an additional thing to do is to just increase the bend in the spine from the nose all the way to about the point where the wingtips cross the spine, from here to the nose, and just make a gentle rocker type of a bend, and that'll increase the spin of the kite. If the kite is flying in such a way where it's always turning, let's say to the right, or always spinning to the right, and it doesn't turn to the left at all, or doesn't fly straight at all, just always turning to the right, always turning to the right. The first thing to do is to move the knot that you have that's in the center of the spine of your bridle, your upper bridle line, and move it a little bit towards the right, towards the way it's spinning. Move it over maybe to the edge of the spine, and then retighten the knot so that the bridle knot will stay in that position. And fly the kite and see if that has reduced the amount of spin. If it has, but it's still turning to the right or spinning to the right, then do the same to the lower bridle connection. Move that knot over to the right all the way, tighten it up, and see if that improves the performance of the kite. And if it straightens it out, you're good to go. Perfect. If you went too far and it starts turning to the left, just slightly adjust the position of the knot a little bit to the left, and eventually you'll get it so it's straight. Just keep trying it. If it's still turning in one direction, let's just say the right hand side, after these adjustments to the bridle, the only other option is to begin to massage the piece of bamboo for the bow. And the side, if it's turning to the right, it means that the bamboo on the right side of the kite, when it would be on the left side with the back on the, if you've got the kite upside down, but on the right side, if you're flying the kite, it's on the right side, and if you're looking at the back of the kite, it's on the left side. But anyway, if the kite is turning to the right, it means that the bamboo on the right hand side of the spine, the bamboo of the bow, is weak compared to the left hand side. The left hand side has a stronger, stiffer bow than the right, and that stiffness is what causes the kite to turn to the right, the weakness on the right. You can't really change the weakness, you can't strengthen that. So what you want to do is to weaken the left side, and the way you do that is by simply, it's called massaging, and it's not much more than that. You simply grasp the bamboo in your hands and very, very carefully and just very lightly wiggle it back and forth, and then move a little bit, wiggle it back and forth, move a little bit, wiggle it back and forth. You don't have to do very much of that, and then test the kite and see if it straightens out. And if it does start to straighten out, you know you're on the right track, and you continue to do this until the kite is flying straight. And what you're doing really is just breaking down a few, very few, of the fibers that are in the bamboo on that part of the bow to weaken it, to make it more uniform in tension or stiffness to the right hand side. And with a bamboo kite, that's about the only options you have, except for adding weight. And that is another possibility and does work sometimes. And that is to, if it's always turning to the right, you put weight on the left, either at the wingtip, on the left wingtip here, or somewhere along there. Put a little bit of weight to compensate. And that does work sometimes, but it's not a very good fix, I don't think. And I hope this helps with your bridle adjustments on a 2-point bridle kite and enjoys the amount of fun you have in flying them.